Imagine this, miles of open road, your favorite playlist blasting through the speakers, and nothing but adventures ahead. But before you pack your bags, before you step on the gas, you may want to watch this video because I have tips, tricks, and hacks for you that no one ever tells you about taking a road trip. Keep watching. Hello Globetrotters, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Lori, welcome. In this community, we aim to educate, motivate, and inspire each other in all things travel related. So if you love travel, if you love to be inspired, if you love to see visuals of beautiful places, then make sure that you click on that red subscribe button down below. Join the community. If you find that you're liking the content, if you find that there's at least one thing new that you learned, please click that thumbs up button. It's a free and easy way to let me know what content you like so I can do more of it. So have you been flying less? Have you been reading the news? Have you been perhaps hit by all these increased prices? I just paid over $12 for a carton of eggs. Is there a recession coming? If this is you and you're perhaps flying less, it doesn't mean you don't have to travel. One of the biggest reasons people take a road trip is because of budget. Let's say you have a family of 5. It's a lot cheaper to put a family of 5 into a car and just pay for the price of gas and a hotel room here and there, as opposed to paying for airline tickets for 5 people. There's also a lot more flexibility if you've been seeing a lot of these flights being canceled, flights being delayed, flights being rerouted, and all of these things happening. Well, if you have the time, then road tripping is a whole lot more convenient for you, especially us control freaks. It gives us a little bit more control, so you can start your trip later, start it earlier, you can add stops to it, all the things. You're in complete control of your itinerary. It's efficient. Most of us don't want to spend a whole lot of money, time, and energy just to get away for a few days. But you may need some type of a reprieve after a busy week. So a weekend road trip may be just what the doctor ordered without blowing the budget, right? So it's an efficient way to get out, to see something new, to experience something, a concert or something like that, instead of spending a whole lot of money last minute. So it's a great last minute alternative to flying. Of course, it provides you access to places that you may not normally have. So if you fly into one area and you wish to see perhaps, let's say, the Italian countryside, you wish to travel on some off the beaten path route, you can always rent a car and take a road trip into the hills of Tuscany. You can go into France and see the wine region or something like that. But taking a road trip gives you access to places that public transportation, such as buses, trains, airplanes, may not. And then last and not least, there's that bonding factor. If you're traveling with someone else, it's a great opportunity to get to know them better, especially with kids. You have to trap them. You have to trap them in a moving vehicle sometimes just to get a sense of what's going on in their lives. But sometimes it's just a perfect opportunity to bond with yourself, to get back in touch with who you are, to figure out what it is that's going on with you, a meditation point for you. Maybe it's more about planning the future and what goals you have. I know it's always worked like that for me, taking long road trips where I can just think about all these different things that I have going on that I wish to accomplish. So the first thing people will tell you about planning a road trip is that you have to plan ahead. So my hacks regarding this, of course, you wash your car and all the things. I say don't even bother washing your car because you're gonna end up having to wash it again wherever you go, depending on how long your trip is. But I always say like vacuum the inside so it's comfortable, it's clean, it's wiped down. You wanna have some cash in the car. I rarely ever have cash when I'm just in my community, but definitely when I'm on a road trip, I want cash because some places may not accept your debit card. And also I like cash in case I need to grease palms a little bit and get something done. Or one time a very kind onlooker helped me out when I was having some car trouble, and I was able to tip him with some cash that I had. Plan ahead in terms of motion sickness, especially if you're traveling with children. I know as a child, I was very motion sick, my siblings and I. So my mother gave each of us like a big like Slurpee, 7-Eleven Slurpee cup. And we had that, disgusting, I know. We had that in the back seat as we sat and drove, because she knew we would always need it, and she'd dump it out and wash it out, along the way, and then on the trip back we'd need it again. But plan ahead, have the Dramamine. I shared a motion sickness hack on here before where you can press this fatty pad in between your thumb and your forefinger. So press and hold there when you're feeling nauseous, and it actually helps to reduce the nausea that you're experiencing. Great little tip for road trippers as well. Don't forget to make sure that you get enough sleep. In the days leading up to my road trip, I eat light. I'm a vegetarian now, so it doesn't matter about the meat and everything, but I try not to eat too much meat, because when I'm traveling anyway, my body senses it and it tends to hold on to things, if you know what I mean. So what I end up doing before I travel is I hydrate those few days before, because I know I'll be drinking while I'm driving. I'll be drinking water, but I'll just be sipping water very slowly, and I don't ingest as much fluid as I do when I'm sitting at home with easy access to a restroom, and I'm a non-public restroom user. But I'll give you tips for those of you who are. I'll give you tips on how to get by. In your planning, make sure that you have your compression socks ready. If you're taking a long trip, you're sitting for any period longer than 4 hours, I say 3 to 4 hours, depending on what your medical conditions are, then you should be wearing compression hose. They help to prevent cardiovascular issues, blood clots, traveling to your brain, strokes. So try to make sure that you're wearing your compression hose, because they're for your health as well as for your comfort. You won't have swollen feet and ankles when you get to where you're going. My second tip is to look ahead. So look into the weather where you're going, look into the traffic as you're preparing to leave to get on the road. Make sure that your car is in good shape, whether you are driving a gasoline-powered vehicle or an electric vehicle. Look to see where the gas stations are. Look to see where the charging stations are for you EV owners, especially if you're driving an EV. You need to plan your trip strategically. I know with AAA will bring me a tank of, a container of gasoline if I'm stuck somewhere, but I don't know what happens to the EV owners. What happens to the EV owners if you're stranded somewhere? Somebody let me know, because I don't know. And I don't know anyone personally who drives an EV regularly, long distances. So know where you're going. Know that your vehicle is in tip-top condition. Get your kids involved if they're age appropriate in making sure that the vehicle is in tip-top condition and ready to go. So plan ahead, look ahead. If you know that you have members of your party who need to stop frequently for the restroom, or if you yourself need to stop frequently for the restroom, maybe you plan the stops that you make. Plan them ahead, especially if you're a germaphobe like me. The cleanest places usually to find a restroom is at a hospital, and you can easily spot those. There's an H sign. If you were driving on a US highway, there will be a blue H sign, H for hospital, and you know that there's a hospital at the upcoming exit. Hospitals have the cleanest and most accessible restrooms. And then there will be restaurants, and I mean like real restaurants, not a rest stop restaurant, where they are required to clean them regularly. They may allow you to use their restroom if need be. Other than that, you can always wear adult diaper. If you need to get food, if you have not pre-packed your foods, let's say your car is packed with people and you need to stop someplace and get food, stop at a grocery store. Grocery stores are less expensive than stopping at fast food restaurants, and they're healthier too. Less expensive, and they usually have a deli section or a hot food section, whether it's a Publix or a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's, where you can get something warm to eat, something hot to eat. If that's necessary, you can buy water that's cheaper than buying it at a convenience store by a gas station. You can get juices, you can get whatever you need for the kids, something perhaps to keep them occupied. You can even get pharmacy supplies from grocery stores. So think about a grocery store. You may not have thought about that, but I like to stop at grocery stores and get my grapes or whatever, something crunchy that I need to keep me awake as I'm traveling, a couple almonds or something like that. Of course, I'm going to say to be safe. Be alert at all times. Be ready to drive away at all times. Even if you're at a gas station, stay alert, especially when you're at a gas station. And in a gas station area, in an ATM area, stay alert. I don't ever put my car in park when I'm at an ATM. I never put my car in park in case I need to drive off. If I leave that card in the ATM, no big deal. I'll call, cancel it, get another one. If I leave the cash in the ATM, no big deal. No big deal. It's not worth my life. So I will drive off if I need to. Never had to, but I keep my foot on the gas and I keep my head on the swivel, as they say. If you're going to park at night, park under lights. Whether I'm parking in a hotel parking lot, whether I'm parking in a grocery store parking lot, whether I'm parking in the gas station parking lot, I will park under a light before I go into wherever I'm going, because I want to see what's around my car. I will make sure I'm not on the phone or anything like that, so I'm not distracted. Download your maps before you go. Yes, we have these great things called cell phones where you can easily just, follow Waze if that's an app that you don't know about. I use Waze and I can concurrently use the map on my phone. So the Apple Maps is usually going, and that's what I'm using for shorter trips. For longer trips, I'm using Waze because it's more social media based. And so people tend to report if there's an accident coming up ahead. They will reroute you and redirect you so you're not sitting in a lot of traffic. And also, they will let you know if there are speed traps along the way. You shouldn't be speeding, but they will let you know if there are speed traps along the way. But I will keep both on and just keep Waze in the background for alerts, let's say, and then keep the Apple Maps on and just keep rolling with that. But Apple Maps tends to be very updated, and it's more updated usually than your vehicle navigation. So unless you have a brand spanking new vehicle, I trust the maps on the phone better. But what happens if you lose your signal? What happens if? Download that map to your phone. Download that map to maybe a backup device so that you always have a way to go. Some people say buy an atlas or buy a paper map. People will rarely do that. Worst case scenario, you can always pull over to a gas station and purchase a paper map because they still sell them. However, I say have a backup on your phone of your route to where you're going, so that you know exactly how to get there. Make sure you update your in case of emergency contacts. Let them know when you're traveling. Mine always know. I turn on my location so that they can locate me. I verify that they can see me where I am and they can tell me exactly where I am and all of that, that they understand how to use that feature, that they know how to locate me in case of an emergency. I let my banks know I'm traveling because usually my bank will notify me immediately if they see some kind of suspicious activity of my ATM card being used at a gas station somewhere randomly. I rarely will ever use my debit card for something like that. Rarely ever use my debit card, period, except to withdraw cash. So if something like that is happening, then it's probably a one-off situation. Let your banks know where you're traveling so that using your credit cards and your debit cards will not be a problem. Do you know of something else that I should know? Please share it down below in the comments with the community. As always, thank you for watching. I hope that you value experiences over things, because travel is the only thing you buy that truly makes you richer. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao. Baby, you give me